world would not be the same. Few people laughed, few people cried, most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu, and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham Adversaries? It's your boy Train as Wonder Wife Sarah. We just got back from the theaters checking out the new Oppenheimer film directed by the GOAT, Christopher Nolan. Wow. This historical drama biographical story about J. Robert Oppenheimer was intense, and it's definitely an artisan film, but it was just crazy of how deep they went into this character story, especially with obviously developing the atomic bomb. What was your thoughts about the story of this film?
I mean, knowing nothing about the character himself, I enjoyed the story quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, it was definitely very interesting. I mean, it's something that I don't recall them really teaching us in high school. Like, we know of like what happens with, you know, the atomic bombs, how we use them in World War II, you know, and the devastation of Japan.
Right, they kind of teach you more about it in your history class than in your science class.
Right, yeah. But I don't remember them like actually going in about who
Oppenheimer was.
Yeah, who Oppenheimer was.
I think the movie, they give you a really good, enough of a background on him as a character to not relate, but like care about him in the movie.
Oh, to be invested into his particular story and the events that kind of take him through this entire film, because it's definitely a lot of ground that they cover with this movie. A lot of different events leading up to obviously designing and building a successful atomic bomb, and the aftermath of all of that, with how everyone reacts to that, to the team who built it, to Oppenheimer, to the government, you know, the political side of it. There was so much to this story that it was kind of, in some places I found it like it was a little tough of knowing where you were at story-wise, because they flip back and forth through different events through and different time periods of when those took place. But how did that work for you?
I mean, I think it didn't make it hard to follow.
You were able to.
I was able to follow. Yeah, I think they did a really good job of, you know, when you watch the trailer, I got the sense of, oh, they're gonna lead up to building the bomb and that's it. They actually lead up to that, and then what happens after.
I did appreciate that they did that.
The aftermath on our side of this, somebody who's the people that dropped the bomb.
Yeah. It's an intense moment when you think about all the variables that must have been going on through their mindset, you know, building weapons of mass destruction. And scientifically, it's that curiosity. It's kind of that famous quote from Jurassic Park.
I don't think you're giving us our due credit. Our scientists have done things which nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
You see what happens with that, and it's a great cautionary historical tale of, and I'm sure they take creative liberties of how certain things happen. There's definitely some really interesting artistic imagery that they do, especially with some raunchy scenes. And it's definitely a rated R film.
Yep.
For sure. So definitely don't bring kids or teenagers to this one. In terms of the characters, Cillian Murphy's performance as Oppenheimer, he's going to get nominated for this.
I think this was his first big leading role in the
movie. I think it was, at least for
working
Christopher Nolan,
yeah.
For certain. I mean, obviously they've worked in a ton of films with each other. You could tell this was like his moment as an actor that will be remembered forever for a performance.
I'd be really surprised if he didn't win some Oscars.
Yeah. The character itself is so complex of how he has to handle, where it's the egotistical power and the hunger for that power once he has it, and also kind of the scientist aspect,
part,
the political side of him, to create this incredible team that he leads to build this thing, and all the information he's getting as a leader that he has to take it back to the government. There's a bit of humility to it, ego. It's so complex.
Right.
You know, a very complicated performance, and I think he nails it. Another person that personally nailed it for me, who I think will also get nominated for this, was Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, 100%.
He was incredible as Louis Strauss. Like, he's a great character. I don't want to give anything away with him, but everyone in this plays a complicated role. Some people are, you know, what you would expect from a military aspect of that character. A lot of people are playing multiple sides of, their own ambitions, the political side of it.
Right, and you see a lot of different sides of perception in that character's role.
Even Emily Blunt was awesome. Like, she has a moment, especially at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Like, you kind of want to get up and clap.
A little bit. She's a bit feisty, and it was, once again, a complicated character where she's kind of interesting, and like you're kind of
her character was definitely not probably easy for her to play.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone Christopher Nolan got the best out of these people, and you can feel it. Like, it's an all-star cast. So many people that you're like, oh my god, that's a big actor in this tiny role, kind of, but like here they are giving a wonderful performance, and everyone's just hitting, and it lifts each other up to where Cillian Murphy is able to really, steal the show. And that was genius. If there's one thing I will say, I think Christopher Nolan did an incredible job with a 3-hour film, his longest film yet. For a historical drama, he was able to, through the editing, through the cinematography, to make it not feel like a 3-hour film.
I would say it needed the 3 hours. I mean, I don't think I would do anything differently with this movie.
I completely agree. I don't know how you would shorten this film to make it understandable, because there's just so much story to tell in this. Any general thoughts or things that captured your attention?
I mean, we kind of talked about it right on the ride home.
Yeah.
We both dug the music. There was not a single scene that I didn't think had any soundtrack in it.
Yeah, it's filled with music, man. It's packed with the 3 hours, and it's done by composer Ludwig Göransson, who, if you don't know who that is, he is famous for the Mandalorian theme. So they didn't quite go for the historical route of it, like playing into that 1940s music. They kind of went airy and spacey with it.
It was definitely more modern type music that you would see, like, not in that era.
Yeah.
But I think it made, especially certain scenes, more emotional.
Everything just felt intense, knowing the aftermath of building the atomic bomb and realizing that what would it have been like if we didn't make it?
Right.
What would have been the outcome of World War II? But not only that, just the implications. Being a Godzilla fan, I understand the importance of the atomic bomb, and I know everyone does, but like, as a Godzilla fan, you see the tragedy side from Japan's perspective, and realizing that this event really does bring you into a new era of the world. And we were talking about this on our ride home. I remember my parents telling me that they used to have bomb drills, where they would have to get under the desk, and you realize, like, that would have done nothing, but that was the fear they had during the Cold War era. It's an interesting outlook to be in the audience and kind of viewing that, and also know where your parents have come from and kind of the issues we deal with now with it all. And it's a film that makes you think, for sure, and it's you contemplate what it means to that we did go through this and what everyone went through in the aftermath of it. It's an interesting tell, for sure. If you had to score it, Sarah, what would you score it?
I'd probably give it a 9.4.
A 9.4.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I definitely dug this movie. I liked it. From an Artesian standpoint, I liked it more than Air. And I liked Air.
Yeah, Air was a good movie. Matt Damon, 2 masterpiece films this year. Matt Damon. I agree with you. For what I would score it, I think I liked it slightly more than Air, just because of the intensity of it, and a film that I think I'm going to come back to because it makes you think. I think I gave Air a 9.5 because that was a masterpiece. Christopher Nolan did it again. This is a 9.6 film.
Yeah.
Very good. Really enjoyed it. The cinematography of the explosions. Bravo to Christopher Nolan for not using CGI. I don't know how he did it. But
right, especially I kept thinking about that after we watched that interview with him and Robert. Like, he doesn't use any CGI. There was definitely some scenes where I'm like, how did you pull that off?
Do you think he called, like, the government and went like, can we have, like, a nuclear bomb go off? It's just a small one.
Just a small one.
Just need to videotape it for this movie I'm working on. But let us know in the comments what you guys think, if you've seen Oppenheimer, or if you plan on seeing it. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. I'm your host, Trey, with his wonder wife, Sarah, and don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bad time.
Same bat channel.